This multivariate presentation concerns factors in determining support of private hospitals in Canada. So, the research questions are as follows. Does income level and political orientation determine one's support of private hospitals in Canada? And is this support further determined by age, gender, and/or region? The first hypothesis is that the higher one's income is, the more likely one is to support private hospitals, and this is because, due to the higher income, they can't afford to pay for private health care and thus cut down on their own wait time, which they will likely do. The second hypothesis is that support of the Conservative Party will result in support of private hospitals, and this is because part of the Conservative Party's platform is support for the private sector overall, so support for private institutions, private hospitals, is in alignment with their way of thinking. And the third hypothesis is that concerning age, that if one is over 40, support for private hospitals will decrease. And this is because the older population is usually more concerned with their health, and thus more likely to need access to health care and affordable health care. The fourth hypothesis deals with women, gender, that women will have less support for private hospitals. And this is because, in general, women seem to be more concerned and conscious of their health, and thus be more concerned with the amount of services available and the affordability. The fifth hypothesis is that those from Ontario will have less support for private hospitals compared to other regions in Canada, and this is mainly because Ontario is comprised of many new immigrants who have come to Canada because of expectations of a better life, and this would include public health care, and also they are not of a high income level. And information drawn from academic literature includes a March 2006 survey that concluded that having a higher income does mean more support for private health clinics. A 2004 poll showed that there's a strong interest from Canadians in a two-tier health system in Canada. And in a January 2003 survey, 57% of Canadians were satisfied with the availability of affordable health care. And another survey said that Ontarians were the most satisfied with their health care, with giving it a 57% of Ontarians rating the system as good or excellent. In Canada's level of satisfaction with their healthcare system ranked 12th among industrialized countries in a 2002 survey. For the approach, the data set conservative values was used, and the dependent variable was for support of private hospitals in Canada, with the indicator being question 47, do you think we should have private hospitals in Canada? A simple yes or no question. And then the independent variables are as follows. First being political orientation, followed by income level, age, gender, and then region. So, first, a multiple regression analysis is run with the two independent variables being political orientation and income level. This is to see if the independent variables do have an effect on the dependent variable, and that there's no multicollinearity between the two independent variables, which would make the analysis invalid. So income is recorded into two categories. In the original form, this is based on frequency, and to have two distinct categories. And for age, the same thing. So we code it into two categories, below 40 and above 40. It also have two distinct categories. Genders are coded into female only. For regions, Saskatchewan and Manitoba are combined into prairies based on frequency, and thus to reduce the number of regions. A set of regional dummy variables are created through a set of recodes, with Ontario being omitted, which is because it's the largest category, and thus to avoid a situation of multicollinearity. So for the findings for the first multiple regression analysis were that were the effects of income and party support on private hospital support. So it was found that the R2 and adjusted R2 figures indicate that approximately 2% of variance in support for private hospitals is explained by income and political party support. The B values indicate that support for private hospitals is more likely with increase in income. Controlling for the political party support, a one category increase in income produces about 7% increase in likelihood support for private hospitals. The beta values indicate that income level has a greater impact than political orientation and support for private hospitals. and tolerance levels are very close to 1, and this indicates that the independent variables are not related to one another, and thus collinearity is not a problem. The significance of the individual independent variables is indicated by the t ratio. So both variables exceed 1.96, meaning that one can be 94% confident that their respective relationships to support private hospitals are not due to chance. Finally, the second multiple regression analysis. So the R2 adjusted R2 figures indicate approximately 9% of variance in support for private hospitals explained by the above by the independent variables. So the B values indicate that support for private hospitals is more likely with increasing income, but less likely with age. Being female decreases support for private hospitals. As age increases, support for private hospitals decreases. So with the beta values, we can see that females are less likely to support private hospitals by 8.9%, and the population over 41 is less likely to support private hospitals by 7.8%. The tolerance levels are very close to 1, which indicates that the independent variables are not close to one another and collinearity is not a problem. And support for private hospitals is higher in all the regions compared to Ontario. And so the conclusions are that all hypotheses were proven correct, and the results were thus in accordance with the academic literature. And the issue of private versus public healthcare is one that does still leave Canadians divided, as can be seen in the poll. 57% of Canadians are satisfied with their healthcare. And for further research, to investigate the issue, one would probably have to compare the Canadian opinion with another country such as the United States, which has private healthcare.